Younger days when I lived for my life was everything a man could want to do. I could never see tomorrow. I was never told about the sorrow. And can get a broken heart? How can you stop the rain from down? Tell me, how can you stop the sun from shining? What makes the world go round? How can you make this broken man? How can I lose every hope? Somebody help me mend my broken heart.
All right, welcome back to the J Talks Today's Relationship Show. J and K Talks Today's Relationship Show. Hey, K.
Hey.
All right. Well, we back on it. Glad to have you back.
We're glad to be back.
All right, yeah. Yeah, our good friend Miss Debbie been holding you down while you been gone. But I'm sure glad
to appreciate her.
Well, today's topic. All right, you want to tell them what it is?
Man, tonight we are talking about how do you mend a broken heart? Moving forward after the breakup.
Moving forward after the breakup. That's what I agree with your singing about.
Well, he was dead on it too. I mean, it was the 70s, and he was dead on it. How do you mend a broken heart? You know, that's like the universal question, because trust and believe, my granny told me a long time ago that if you live long enough, you're going to have your heart broken.
If you live long enough.
If you live long enough, you're going to have your heart broken. No relationship is perfect. All
right. Okay, right. No, well, I don't see how a relationship can ever be perfect if we ourselves are not perfect. I mean, you know, it's like trying to add 1 and 1 and try to get 10, you know, out of two figures that don't even equate to the number 10, you know.
Then you have people walking around, acting like everything is perfect, like, their lives are perfect, their relationships are perfect, and, it's like a China doll. If you look close enough, you still crack.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's not perfect.
I hear people saying, we have the perfect relationship. We have the perfect marriage. And I'm like, are you serious? I said, really? Are you serious? I mean, it's not that I don't wish you any good, and I don't pray that people have a lovely relationship. But when we place the word perfect, are we sure we're picking the right words because perfect does have its meaning, its definition, and I think many times we tell ourselves, we feed the wrong thing into our minds, or we actually think or place it that is perfect. It's nothing wrong. There's not a single thing wrong. Then something comes up, and because we've set ourselves up, now we're all down and trodden and everything, and because we thought it was perfect, now we find it out it ain't as perfect as what we led ourselves to be.
And you said it right there when you said it was a setup.
Setup.
And what makes it so bad is that
Goonie goo goo.
You set yourself up. You said goonie goo goo. Oh my God. Oh my goonie goo goo. You wrong for that. But you know what is so true? You set yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we walking around sad, both busted and disgusted.
Yeah.
All tore up.
Yeah.
Crying, eyes red. We can talk about, nose running.
Right. Yeah.
You going. Don't bathe for a couple of days, laying around the bed, can't eat. Watching every sappy love story that come on television.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's one thing I really have not been able to understand, even in all the psychology classes and all that I've had. That one just has not penetrated me. You're already feeling low, depressed, and everything. Then you're going to go and watch depressing, low-rated, degrading movies.
And that makes you feel 150 times worse because you're watching this. I'm speaking from experience. You're watching the program and you're like, why can't I have it? But what you need to remember is that's a fictionalized somebody else's perception. It's a written script. It is not life. And you're watching it, and it just makes you feel worse.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel worse, and and I guess leading off into the thing, we talked about how to move on, and how the men of broken heart, and as you started off talking about the perfect relationship, perfect marriage. You got the perfect man, the perfect woman, and I'm using that word perfect, and again, I reiterate, there's no way anybody can be, anything can be, if we're not even living in a perfect world. I mean, there's nothing, even cars are not perfect. They're great, but they're not perfect because they break down.
Put you down.
Things tend to wear out. I mean, there's nothing that's made that's actually perfect that doesn't eventually at some point have some kind of problem.
Everything and everyone has a flaw.
Yep.
At least one. I challenge anybody to call in tonight. Or message us or email us where there may or the person that they are currently involved with is perfect. No flaws nowhere.
Right.
Not in their personality, not in their thinkality.
Right. Mm-hmm.
No flaws anywhere.
Right, that's right. And most of the time, in thinking on that, one of the things we really need to really be careful about and I was sure wishing that you could have been there. I know you couldn't, but as I was on the radio show, with another radio show, not ours, but there was a question that was asked. How do we, as since we haven't, some people call our show a counseling show. It's not a counseling show, folks. It's not a religious show. It's it can be counseling to you if it does render help and information that you consider valid, and we hope you do. But we're not a counseling show, even though we do have a separate setup, with the workshops and all that, which is sort of counseling. But there was the question was asked, how would we counsel somebody who is having a bad relationship and they seem to be going through the dumps, and it's pretty much in line with what our subject and topic is tonight. And I responded, I said, be honest with yourself. And the host looked at me like, be honest with yourself. They were expecting, of course, for something to come out like, well, you should do this and do that, blah, 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 and this, but really when you get down to it, be honest with yourself. Like what we were just talking about. Be honest with yourself. There ain't no perfect relationship, so be honest with yourself. All right? Don't set yourself up. All right? Then another thing, be honest with yourself. You can't make them be what you want them to be. Be honest with yourself. Okay? All right?
And you know what else, Jay, though? Mm-hmm. And what's hitting me right now is, in all actuality, if you really think about it, the answer lies within you.
Yeah.
The answer is within you already. It's whether or not you recognize it, whether or not you see it, whether or not you're willing to accept the reality of what it is.
Right. Yes. You have to be realistic. Yeah. Yeah.
The answer's already within you.
Yeah, it's already within you. Mm-hmm. And as I always say, if you haven't been medically tested and to be mentally deformed or mentally deficient, I said medically tested, okay? That's where they stick all those wires in your head. I ask you all these questions, all that stuff.
Network.
Yeah, do go through all that network stuff. And so, and done an actual official test. I ain't talking about what your auntie or somebody who hating on you telling you or whatever, they're telling you crazy or whatever, or your mama or daddy or whoever, however you came up, and that's another sad part. I mean, I know it's not part of the show, but, that kids come up sometimes thinking they crazy because folks just keep feeding that into them. Well, I know this is outside the topic, but I'm a planet. If you have been one of them people, all right, do not listen to that. If you think you might be a little crazy, go get yourself tested and let the medical doctors for real let you know. They'll tell you whether you really straight. Okay? All right, now don't go in there playing and acting like you crazy when you're really smart.
So let me water that for you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Don't allow somebody to place a title or a label on you that you really feel as though that's not who you are.
All
You're
right.
not giving the liberty of placing a label on you.
All right.
Because they will.
Yeah, they will.
Because they're trying to figure out, they're trying to dress up what they see you as. Can't nobody see you as you as, without you realizing who you are. If you realize who you are, you won't allow people to put labels on you.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And
people try to label me.
All right.
They do. They try to label me as being strong-willed, as being arrogant. And I will let them know immediately that don't be intimidated by my intelligence.
All right.
That's your issue, not mine. And if that's arrogant, then I'm arrogant.
All righty then.
But do not be intimidated by my intelligence. I'm not going to allow you to put a label on me. I put labels on me. But I don't put limits on me. And there's a difference. All
right. Yeah, that takes me through that one scripture I love the most. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All right.
Okay. Amen.
All right. And that that scripture can be applied to this topic because, as you were saying, how to move on past breakups and all that. A lot of people be saying because they got this broken heart, I can't move forward. I can't, do nothing. I miss them. I can't do my life, I just feel so in the dumps. I'm not worth much because they didn't want me and all this kind of stuff. And until you can really come to the point, like you were saying, Lady K, of knowing who you are, what your value, what your worth. Evidently, you went into that relationship probably not thinking that you were worth much when you went into the relationship. So therefore, coming out of the relationship, you're still in that mode, and that's why you already saying. That's why you're saying you don't think you're worth much.
I wonder if the individual lost themselves in the process of being in the relationship, or if they were already lost before they even entered into the relationship, which made them easier prey.
All right. That's a good one. Yeah, that's one of them you go, Yeah.
And it's very true. I mean, it's like looking back, Jay and I are both, well, he's like in the 50 plus club. I'm in the 20 plus club. And we can both look back 20 or 30 years, on Jay's part.
Goonie goo goo.
Where we were in our 20s. And Jay, if you really think about it,
yeah.
Your mentality towards dating is different the older that you get.
Well, I'll say, you know what, I agree with that personally, but I will say it can be. Some people, it depends on where you begin to set your thoughts. And some people don't change their thoughts. And if you don't change your thoughts and change the pattern of your thinking and regroup and, back again, be honest with yourself, all right? Really be honest with yourself. There's several scriptures I could throw out all day, but there's just a few that's so important. As Proverbs 1 says, how long will you simple ones, where simple means ignorant, how long will you simple ignorant ones stay in your simple ignorant ways? And ignorance is really an action that we do say, act in ways that we already know is not what we probably should be doing, or we have gained information or knowledge or truth or whatever, but we do the total opposite of that we should be doing, could be doing, and ought to be doing.
It's also, I want to go back to, how you talk about some people that say that they have a perfect relationship. I watch a lot of crime television, and I love those shows. It's interesting to me. And I believe it was last weekend, there was an entire series about husbands that had murdered their wives. And the interesting thing that just came to my remembrance about each and every story was that to the outside world, everybody said, well, they were the perfect couple. No issues, they were always happy, no arguments. They were the perfect couple.
Mm.
And I'm thinking now, like, wow, how could they possibly have had no issues? But it was just that they didn't have outward signs. Where it was easily recognizable by people on the outside. And that's how, when people are in a relationship and they're going through a breakup, and the male or the female, the one that, is saddened by the breakup, they dump me and not to dump her. It's like, well, that's what's going on. They're confused. It's like they get thrown into this cyclone where they're constantly spinning downward. And Jay, you said it several times on the show. There's always a sign. There's signs for everything. And when people get caught off guard when they are the dumpees, I believe that it's because they simply can either ignore the signs or totally miss it. And then that leads to their heart getting broken. And then we also need to examine, how can you or do you relinquish your heart to another person? I mean, your whole heart. We're talking people that's just like so heartbroken that they're devastated. That's someone that has to release their whole heart to somebody.
Well,
I mean, do you think that it's wise to keep? I mean, it's okay to love somebody, to be in love with somebody, but to give them your whole heart?
Well, I'm gonna try to help somebody with a scientific, religious, theological, moral, ethical commentary on something to understand it. Okay. All right. As a man, we know as a man thinketh, so is he, which is so very true. You conform who you are. Even though, your early childhood does have a lot to do with the outside people who influence set some patterns of thinking in straight. But once you become a little older, you're actually responsible. Self is actually responsible for either staying in that path or reconforming it and remolding itself. Because a person can, even if they feel like they need to have a co-partner or a coach or somebody or subsidy to hold their hand while doing it, it still does not relieve the responsibility. Okay, because at the end, as we all know, we are all judged for our own actions, not for what somebody else puts on us. So that right there says right there, totally, we're responsible for what our choices, how we do it, the pattern of our thinking. We're told once we become, old enough, and it may be teenage years or just right after teenage years, but once we come into a good sense of analyzing things about life, then that's when you become responsible. Now, going from there, getting to one of the things we say so often, and it's not just in just non-church goers, non-believers, folk in society. It's all the way spewed into almost practically every denomination of religion. When we say heart, we said it so in a pace that we don't even really understand what we're saying when we say the word heart. And we always like broken heart, or my heart loves you, Lord, or I give you my heart, or I love you, or my mate, my partner with all my heart. Now, what we don't really recognize what heart is really, what it really is. Now, if we ever did, I think we might wake up a little bit more. The heart is not the heart in the middle of your chest, pumping and filtering out blood, because it don't feel nothing. It might feel some physical pain, but it don't feel nothing. It has an operation. It has nothing to do with processing feelings. It has nothing to do with processing thoughts. It has nothing to do with processing anything that has to do with mental. It has only the function of keeping your blood good to keep you alive. Okay? Now, the heart, that people could really come to the understanding, what you're saying is your mind. It's really your mind. So when you say you're giving, your heart is broken, you're saying your mind is shattered. Your mind is broken. Why? Because you gave up. You say, I give up my heart to you. What you're really saying is, I'm giving up my mind to you. I'm giving up my brains, my mind to you. Because that's the heart. Because that's where your mental is. That's where you process emotions and thoughts and choices and all that, and actions. All that comes from your brain. So if we kind of switch the word, I think we might get a little better sense of what some of the stuff we might be doing, and get a little clarity, because we say the word heart so fluently and loosely that I don't think we really come to conformity of what we're actually, the actions we're actually doing and what we're telling ourselves. And but if we were to say, well, I give my whole mind up to you because I love you that much. If I was to ask somebody, would you give your whole mind up to me? They probably say no. They probably say, no, I wouldn't give you my mind. I might give you a piece of my mind, but I ain't going to give you my whole mind because I'm my own person.
Yes, that's true, but once they have crossed that emotional, mental threshold, and they are, for lack of a better word, throw out the frame.
Okay.
They are, by common, average, everyday conversation, they're heartbroken. It's beyond melancholy. It's that hurt from deep inside, where it's almost animalistic, where you just hurt. How do you begin to crawl out of that pit?
Okay. I say this, and I say, and I continue to say, you have to find the path. You're going to have to come in. The only way a person can move forward is being honest with themselves. Until they come to that point that they be honest with themselves about themselves and about the choices and things that happen. And one thing, like we were talking earlier, one of the things you were saying, nobody can control another person. You can't. There was that song by several people remade the song. I'm trying to think of the actual artist, something Ray, not Bonnie Ray. I can't make you love me if you don't. And
Bonnie Ray did do that.
Yeah, I thought it was Bonnie Ray. Yeah, Bonnie Ray. I know Prince and several Boys and Men did it. Several other people, many people have redone that song. And when you listen to the lyrics, and that what it really is really saying, and which is so really true, you really don't know what a person will do or can do, or what all you can do in life is hope and pray and appreciate that if they don't stray or if they don't leave you or whatsoever, appreciate it, because and hope that it never comes to be that a person strays, never comes to be that, but you can't make them. And there's really no, I mean, just look at the reality of what's happening in these days. Look at all the relationships and marriages that are going sour, and that enough should say that I mean, to people, just like we see on news, we know somebody gets killed or gets shot, and we think it's so surprising, but it's not. It's just surprising if it happened next door to you, but it's not a surprise that it's happening, because it's so above average of what's happening, the percentage wise. So the same thing about relationship. We see so many relationships breaking up, and for so many different reasons. But the bottom line is that the promise of the relationship that many people thought that they had, that it would never come to that, without keeping just a little bit of room to say that it could be possible. It could be possible. It's just the same. It could be possible that something tragic could come in your neighborhood. It could be possible, but if it never does, be thankful and be appreciative. Okay, there's a difference in being appreciative and actually have an expectation that it never will. There's a difference, because sometimes when we set an expectation so high to perfect, remember that's the key word, perfect. If we keep it in the unperfect sense, then I'm not saying we're looking for it, we're wishing for it, but we keep it in just below being perfect, then the room for error or the room for problems or room for anything that might be devastating might not be as devastating or such a surprise as though as what we set it up to be, as not to ever happen.
That right there makes me go back to what you were talking about, that Bonnie Raitt song. I can't make you love me if you don't, because it's a line in that song that says, I close my eyes so I won't see. The love you don't feel when you're holding me. Mm-hmm. And that's just self-realization. I mean, in the song, she literally is stating that she knows this person doesn't love her. She feels the person doesn't love her, but she's going to close her eyes so that she won't see it. Because once you see it, then it becomes real. Yep. And that's the way a lot of us walk through life.
Yeah.
We close our eyes because we don't want to see what's right in front of us, what's real.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We do. We close our eyes to, and that goes right back to saying, to that question, are you being honest with yourself? You see? I know that sounds redundant, but really, when it gets down to some real hard facts and truth, it really comes down to, no matter what road or crossroad you take off from, it's going to loop back to the headline, being honest with yourself. and telling yourself the truth. Like you said, they close eyes.
When I was thinking about this topic, I was also thinking about a scene from a Tyler Perry play. I think it was Medea Goes to Jail. And in the play, it is Medea Goes to Jail. Sonny is depressed because his marriage is over, his wife is cheating on him, now she's locked up, and he's sitting in the house and he's just crying, he's just tore up. And he's listening to the old songs like Al Green, Big Brother, Luther, Big Luther, not Skinny Luther. And Tyler Perry in the film Medea says to him, it's okay to cry for a little while. It's okay to be upset for a little while because you're human. You know, and you're hurting. You're hurting. She said, but don't stay there. Do not stay there. It's okay to be there for a minute because that's a process. And a lot of times people don't understand. Everybody knows, they've heard about the grieving process when somebody dies. Well, in your relationship, it's also a grieving process that you should, and most people do, go through. You know, to be healthy mentally.
Yeah.
It's a process that you go through. And one of the things that she said, you know, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be sad, but don't stay there. Just visit there a little while. And then move on with your life. You know, and some people find it hard to go from being, you know, crying and upset to the part where they actually have to start to transition and move on with their life.
Yeah.
And some days you may not feel like getting out of the bed, but still get out of the bed. You know, dating, take your time. Get it done.
Yeah.
Do an evaluation. What I did was I wrote down on a piece of paper on one side the good qualities of the person. Then I flipped the paper over and I wrote down the bad qualities. And then I went and got another piece of paper. And on one side, because I had to do a 1, 2, 3 self-check on me. I wrote down all the things about myself that I liked. And then I put the paper over. And I was honest, and I wrote down some of the things about myself that I did not like.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you an opportunity to think. I don't mean write down stuff like my ears are too big or my feet are too flat. I don't mean stuff like that. I mean, am I too trusting? Am I too open? Do I give up authority too quickly? Do I give up too much authority? Open question. And those are the types of things you have to, like what you're talking about mentally, that you need to think about. You need to work through your thought process. Because when you're in a relationship, and like you said, Jay, it's your mind, not your heart. It's a thought process.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The same way when you're sitting at home, wondering where he is, it's a thought process.
Thought process.
You know, and you play all kinds, and every woman, y'all know it, you play all kinds of scenarios over your head. None of them end well.
And it wasn't your heart.
You don't pray. Yeah.
It wasn't your blood pumping heart doing all the things.
Yeah. You know, he's not answering your phone call. Now, one time do you play over the scenario head, well, he's out buying me a gift. It's never anything nice that you're thinking about that he could be doing for you. It's always the bad stuff.
Yep.
So it's a thought process. get out to the that. You know, people think it's a heart condition, but it's a mind condition.
It's a mind condition.
And that's part of the process of how do you make a broken heart?
Yeah.
That's
yeah, we're going to change that. I mean, even though that's the title, we're going to say, how do you mend a broken mind? Yeah. Yeah, maybe they might get it better if we say it like that.
Yeah, like I said, you know, once you research it, and it's hard. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter whether you've been involved with a person a short period of time or a long period of time. Hurt is hurt. Mm-hmm. Hurt is hurt. Yeah. And the thing about it is that, like Tyler Perry said, don't say it. And what helped me is, I thought of the things I liked about me. So you got to be careful with that too, you don't become self-centered.
Yeah. They got to have balance.
It's nothing wrong with being strong and confident. Mm-hmm. But don't be cocky and self-centered.
Right.
So the thing is that I focus on the things I like about me.
You know, it's
and you gotta.
No, go ahead.
So you gotta itch your way out. It's no quick fix. You know, it's not like, you know, like what some people do, because I posed this question at work when I was at work yesterday. How do you make it look alert? And one of the young people that worked with me said, go out and get you a new girlfriend. And I was like, that's the wrong answer, boy. Why you going to go tear somebody else's business because you still toe up over that breakup? And it's going to filter its way into the relationship.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, but he was so quick to say that.
Yeah, I would have told him, goony goo-goo. Anyway, but you know, some people do that. They do stuff with the hopes that would have them forget the person that's causing the pain. I've seen people do that, and they would do that, like I said, with hopes that would have them forget about the person. But you know, we have this other misquoted sentence or phrase that puts us in the wrong mindset. We say forgive and forget. All right, and the Bible never said nothing about no forgetting. Look, God ain't the one insane. Cause God knows good and well. He gave you a good sound mind, full of memory, and unless you got a actual medical physical sickness that's affecting the operation, remember you gotta be medically tested, right? You know, like dementia or something like that, or you know, that's causing your mind to go bad or ineffective. Other than that, your mind is in good, healthy shape. It memorizes, and you ain't got rid of the memory. You won't get rid of the memory. Is what that forgiveness. Now the forgive is all about forgive, and to be and actually that forgiving part does really have a big help, because once you really can forgive, it does help you to move forward. You know, it helps you to move forward. But the more you sitting there hating on the person and all that for the act they did, you'll find yourself still stuck replaying that situation.
You sure will.
And you engage yourself. That person done went on, done hooked up with somebody else and all that, and having a good married time, and you sitting there looping yourself up in a cage that you got the key on the inside to get out.
I know somebody right now. Mm-hmm. She's still mad from over 40 years ago. This man that you in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's almost 70 and alone.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is that I've seen her with some good men. But she just carries that pain, and it changes and it conforms her.
Mm-hmm.
And she literally flushes these relationships down the toilet. And it's sad that she's carrying 40 plus years of pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's sad.
Yep, that's real sad.
Yeah, and I even told her, I said, she said, well, I forgave. I said, no.
You forgave.
We need to forgave because you need to go back to the initial hurt and address it. You know? And the thing about it is that she refuses to do that. I don't need it. Well, okay. So when you look over the span of your life, you know, and look at what you have gone through, it was like history repeating itself over, and it's like it's looping over and over and over again because you're carrying that pain.
All right. Yeah, that's right.
And the thing is that you have to let that pain stay there. You can't take it with you like luggage.
Like luggage.
When you move out of an old house into a new house, you don't take the fixtures with you.
Some people do.
So why? We're not talking about your house, Jay.
There's some people.
Jay taking everything. You go strip it down. You take the wires out of the wall so people get to them. But the good wires. The copper plumbing. We're not talking about your house, Jay. You know, normal people do not take the fixtures with them. So why are you taking the remnant of your relationship into your next relationship?
Yeah, and that's one of the things, you know, when you know, if a person's been in more than one relationship, all right, and evidently if it's more than one relationship, then that meant most likely, highly most likely, and not in all cases, but most likely, the previous relationships went sour for some reason. That was most likely why they're not in the relationship anymore. Okay, I mean, there are a few relationships that for specific reasons, agreeable, mutual reasons, such as, you know, they move away from each other. One is going off to college or something, and it's just best that they end the relationship because they don't want to do the long distance thing. All right, I mean, that's a mutual agreeable thing. They parted on peaceful terms, something like that. But most relationships that it come to an end are most of the time because something went sour some kind of way, and due to that, okay, most people above the age of, I'll say, 20, because, you know, you do have relationships going on in the high school, and we tend to go through, you know, these little boyfriends and girlfriends, and going through a couple of these different relationships. But just think about it. And I'm speaking on like the lady you were just talking about for 40 years. Okay, she went through a bad relationship. She's now going through some others. And even in each one, most likely, the male probably went through some himself, more than one. I'm just saying, at least more than one. So, at the same token, when we become selfish, and if the outlook is like you said, carrying that luggage, carrying that pain, we're so looking at what the other person is going to do for us, and everything. We sometimes fail as people to keep intact the same mind, because it's not just you in it, just one person in it. So if you're looking for them to do something, what you going to do for them? And the other person, because they may be in the same position as being in a sour relationship, or have recovered, but they may, they may be in a better position of moving forward. But just as well, you trying to hold this covering of pain over there. But how would you, like, I'm just speaking such as that lady, would she feel if they are holding a covering, a veil of pain over her? And the question is that fair? Is that really fair? Because are you really giving your relationship a healthy chance, a positive kickoff, a positive chance? Really, when to move forward, you got to wipe the slate clean, because the next person you come in contact is not the same person that you had before. Now, whether or not they have the same similar characteristics, well, like we were talking about the signs. Okay, the signs. Y'all think y'all said 2 weeks? Was that one you said 2 weeks? But they may. You gotta watch for the sign. Now, if what you left from or departed from, whether it was you initiated or the other person initiated the departure, what you left behind, supposedly left behind. Some people still carrying it with them, but what you supposedly left behind. If you are not in agreement or satisfied with the type of character that was what you left behind, and you're seeing very strong similar characteristics in what's in front of you at the present, why would you go into having a relationship with that's already? I can see where it would keep reminding you of the past, because you're still involved with that of your past. So you're reminding your own self of and putting yourself right back into a reminder of the painful situations, rather than to move forward outside of that was already displeasing with you.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what it is.
What's that?
All right. You ever seen that movie Groundhog Day?
Yeah, I know. Groundhog, yeah. Chevy Chase.
The same thing kept replaying itself over and over and over again.
Uh-huh.
He was trying to figure out a way how to break it.
Yeah.
Change one little thing.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times, people feel like they can change the person. And that they can make it better. And that they can make it work.
Uh-huh. And they didn't get it right the first, second, third, fourth time.
First, fifth, sixth time. I can fix it. I can fix the person.
More than fixing you.
The situation. Exactly. It never occurred to them that the issue may lie within their own skin.
Uh-huh.
The choices that they make, the pathways they decide to go down.
Uh-huh.
That falls on you.
It does.
Because life is full of choice.
And you're responsible for them choices.
And you're responsible for the consequences of your choice.
Yep, responsible for every one of them. And they're going to go back to that scripture. How long will you simple, ignorant ones stay in your simple, ignorant ways?
You know what's crazy? I read something on Facebook last night, and it said, if he was cheating on someone when he met you, what makes you think he's not going to cheat on you too?
You know, I'll even add to that. If he was with somebody and he was using you to cheat with on them, and then he left them, and now you think you got him to yourself. Now, when you were the person who was the item who was being used, that he was cheating with on the woman that was supposed to be in a relationship with, what makes you think that you gonna that just because now you got him from cheating on him, and he's now not with the other person, that he's now on 100% with you?
Exactly. I now have a female that was bragging to me because the guy that she was dating had him as his girlfriend, and he buying her dinner on the girlfriend's credit card. And I was like, are you seriously for real? I said, do you not think that he would do the same thing to you? Oh, no. But about 6 months later, she was singing a different tune.
I'm going to tell this.
I'm going to kill that joker for running up my credit card with another woman.
You know, that takes me back, and I it's been a while since I shared this one, but this is about the craziest situation I've ever seen in my life. I know there are a bunch of reports, but I don't think there's one that they're going to talk. I'm sure there is one, but it hasn't been reported. I haven't come across it. Because it's billions of people all across this land, so I'm sure there's another scenario or situation either the similar or worse. But this one I can speak on because I've had my real life upfront situation eyesight on this one. Okay. A friend of mine asked me to talk to her girlfriend and see if I could talk some sense into her because they knew of the show and everything. And after sitting down talking with the girl, because the thing was, she was all upset because of this guy she was seeing, and she said he was cheating on her. And you gotta remember this one, huh? Cheating on her. And so after talking, while getting into the conversation, I was like, well, who is this guy? What's he like? And then she expressed, she's living in the house, and explained that, about the guy is cheating on her. Well, I'll say they were both African American. The guy and this lady I was talking to, the one she was concerned about him cheating on her with was a white female. And then, so I'm just thinking it's just about the three of them. And then she hauled off and made a comment and said, and his wife in the apartment that she lives in. I was like, wait, the wife? I was like, the guy is married? Yeah, he's married. And you live in the apartment? Yes, I live in the apartment. I sleep on the sofa in the same apartment with him and his wife. I was like, wait a minute. You're in the apartment, sleeping on the sofa, messing with another lady's husband. She know? I like, the wife know you mess with the husband. And I'm like, okay, so you upset because he's messing with another female outside of someone outside who doesn't live at the apartment. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I said, and the girl was pretty. I mean, she was really pretty, a pretty woman. But it doesn't really have anything to do with it because, I'm just saying that, a person, just as an individual, I mean, you don't have to be pretty. You could be just being a person. Just that you just need to find out what your values were. Because, she's upset about someone, ain't upset about the wife. Okay? Now the wife is upset about her, but the wife ain't put her out of the house. All she keep doing is jumping on the guy. The wife ain't left the guy, ain't left her husband. The girl that's staying over there on the couch ain't let the mistress, I guess you could call her that, has not left the guy. The guy is still messing with the outside woman. May have some other women. And I'm like, okay. So our first thing came to my mind, well, maybe it must be about the money. Like the show must be about the Benjamins, right? Alright. The guy don't work. Guy don't have a job. He don't have no money. I'm like, well, what is it? I'm going to say this for better words. I said, well, maybe all the women were sprung. Okay. Okay. All right. For lack of better words, we are a family show. And so I was told, no, that ain't it, because he ain't working with nothing. Okay. Okay. I mean, I had to ask because I'm trying to figure out what got y'all to this point. What got you, mainly you, okay? And she, all she could say was that, could tell herself, I'm heartbroken because I love him. I'm like, over what? He's not providing her with that. I mean, is just being able to sleep on the couch, is that good enough for you to lower yourself? So when I was talking about expectations, earlier, when we sometimes we set ourselves up for expectations way more and far above than where it ever needs to be, and if we don't leave that little bit of room, I'm not saying that little bit of room like we saying, well, I expect for you to mess up. No, not that kind of room. The little bit of room that says it's possible that a person can mess up, or a person could go wrong or go astray. It's possible. Because whenever you leave just that little bit of room, and if we just tell our own selves, sometimes we think we're so perfect that we can't mess up. Because we think we sometimes better than everybody else. And like they say, we be pointing the fingers, 3 more pointing back at yourself. And if we just leave that little room, even if it's about ourselves, I'm not perfect, and we can say that so much, but why is it that we can say nobody? We can say that phrase so quick. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but we get in a relationship and we think the person's so perfect. I'm just saying. How we mock our own selves.
So that is so true. I was becoming an expert. I was thinking like, wow.
Well,
you ever check in on those people now?
It's been a while.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's been a while. I need to go back and check on them. I'll see what's happening. See if they all together. If they don't. I guess it's living.
Might have a bigger house.
Yeah, that was some situation. Oh wow.
That's just some crazy mess.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we're closing on that note. Yeah, folks, there's all kinds of stuff that's going on. But the main important thing is that, if you're listening to this show, that you don't become that kind of statistic. Not saying that drastic, just a statistic that whereas you have given up your whole mind, all right, as you be saying, your heart, that you no longer find yourself being able to function because your mind belongs to you. And if you could just realize that you're in control of your mind, not someone else. It don't take someone else to be there for your mind to function properly. It don't take somebody. I mean, really, it does not take somebody to be there. If you really believe that you are a whole person, if you really believe that you can do things, you got to be honest with yourself. Like I said, you got to be honest with yourself because we can do whatever we decide to do. You keep telling yourself you can't, won't, don't feel like it, that you need things to happen or all this, you most likely would never do whatever you really know what you can do. You most likely won't until you start telling what you can do, that you can move forward, that you can go into a healthy relationship, that you can do, make the best of life, that you can. I mean, you won't do it until you be honest with yourself and tell yourself the truth that you know is true.
And then a lot of our shows are interwoven, and it makes me think about the lady that won the anniversary contest, Miss Coretta. Her show topic.
Oh yeah.
If you want to go back into the archives, watch that show.
Yeah.
About how do you love yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You have to love yourself first before you can truly love somebody else.
Yeah.
So if you get an opportunity, go back to the archives, and that show was right about, I believe, about the 26th of April.
In April, 26th April.
And I believe it was the 26th.
It was doing
and watch that show. Mm-hmm. Because in that show, we talked about how can you love yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to love yourself before you can love someone else. And that will help you navigate through this thing, as Jay says, the affairs of the mind, to the affairs of the heart, but the affairs of the mind. When it relates to the heart.
Yep, that's right. Yep, it could be. We really do need to just pay attention to the things that we do. Stop setting ourselves up, because folks, there is no promise. The only promise that you have in this whole life is the things that you do and make good of yourself. That's the only promise that could ever be rendered to you, is the promise that you fulfill yourself, and the promise that God gave you. But that's also dependent upon the things that you put forward to that promise being fulfilled in you. Okay? We did another show, come to think about it, Lady K, in October, called Are We Really Loving Ourselves? That was pretty good too. But yeah, so folks, we hope that this show may have said a word that might have helped you, and just glad to have Lady K back.
I'm back.
All right. Okay. Yeah, folks, we're going to get ready. We're going to be having a kind of a reunion show coming up. All right. We're going to have all the cast members, for all the folk that have been previously on the show, Oh boy, that's gonna be some situation, ain't it?
Oh boy.
All right. A lot of voices on that show. All right. So, folks, we're out of here.
I hope you got that bleeper button.
Yeah, we're going to need it. I got about 5 of them.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're out of here. We'll see y'all next time.
See you next time.
All righty.